kind of here.
I mean, just zero fun. Sorry.
There we are. Kind of.
Oh, gosh.
Alrighty.
Hopefully y'all can hear us. Yeah, I just kind of ran to set this up. I don't even know. I mean, just not a fun way to end the season. I mean, what do you say? What does everyone else got on their mind, really? I'm kind of just shocked right now. Don't even know really what to say. I mean, there's obviously a lot of negative out there, and certainly can't blame them right now. But I just, if OU lost, I didn't expect it to be in the manner I thought that they did, with all the drops and all the just mistakes that, you can maybe envision happening every now and then, but goodness.
It's funny you mentioned that you thought if we lost it wouldn't be in the manner. I 100% thought that would be in the manner. Because I didn't know who we were going to have to throw it to, and that's not like a dog on them, but like legitimately I was like, I don't know who's still hurt from LSU. I don't know how far our depth went, so
Well, I don't know. Well, I think it's. I don't know. I'm just gonna say this. I don't really care if people get mad at me. I think people that are like acting like this is some shocking result, like even though I just said that,
right?
Guys, you're playing true freshmen. I mean, it's a meaningless bowl game in the grand scheme of things. It's the same thing all OU fans were saying, and now that we lost, everyone's acting like you should fire the entire staff. I don't know. I'm not even like that upset because I didn't expect us to really win or compete much.
Right.
There's a reason you're playing like freshmen against a disciplined team that runs a unique offense. That is all about that you need to be
a team that's played together all year.
That's played together all year, and not being able to run the ball was kind of shocking. I thought Xavier Robinson would get more carries. I thought he would be the guy that we should have got carries. The fact he didn't, maybe he's still injured. I know he was kind of dinged up after the LSU game, but I mean Hawkins throwing as many times as he did certainly wasn't the game plan coming in. You can't imagine that. And if it was, well, take heed in the fact that we have a different OC and guy making our strategy for next year. That'll be able to help a lot. So
right, and regardless of the outcome, though, that last drive by Hawkins, like, good for him.
Yeah, I mean they got it there. I just Reagan's is wide open. It's just the guy, for whatever reason, the defensive end that was their best pass rusher, just goes unblocked, and so he doesn't even have enough time for Reagan's to get over. Of course, Reagan's gets taken off the off the line because he weighs 155 pounds. He'll be a little bit bigger next year, which will help. But I mean, I don't know, like. I get people are upset, but my goodness, guys, I mean, you got to have some. I guess maybe it's because I just expected them to struggle and to not move the ball much or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't really shocked, nor did I really care. I mean, I guess it's like having the JV team playing your bowl game, playing your like state championship game or something, and you lose, and everyone's saying like, this is Oklahoma. This is like, no, it's not. I mean,
yeah,
you don't have Danny, you don't have Billy Bowman. Two guys that you need against an offense like Navy. I mean, sure, they should have played better in situation. They shouldn't drop the ball. I mean, if you're a receiver, part of the things you want to have happen is catch the ball. I'm glad he went for it. Yeah, I am too. All the people that are sitting there, hindsight 2020 people, about how you should kick the field goal were the same ones yelling in their living room, go for it, because they thought we would make it. I 100%
Oh,
agree.
I 100%. Everybody that said we shouldn't have gone for it was probably saying,
love it,
go for it, love it, love going for it.
Yeah, that might be true. I was saying before the game, I don't really care either or. If you beat Navy, good. I just was glad they got more experience for next year. I don't care much about bowl wins and bowl. I think that if you're not in the playoff, they're all meaningless, which is why eventually the playoff will be 60 teams, and everyone that's crying about it will have to get over it, because that's what's going to happen.
Right. People are upset too to me because, well, somebody for one said like, can't believe this Oklahoma team beat Alabama. Well, it wasn't the same Oklahoma team at all. Yeah. I mean, we had a different quarterback. We didn't have Deion in Alabama, but we obviously didn't have Danny Stutzman or Billy Bowman, like Dashawn McCullough, Vernon Thompson. We didn't have several of the players who played in the Alabama game. But, like, I get your point. You're trying to just, take jabs at Alabama. But it's just like the reality is that was 56% of the people on the depth chart today were freshmen. They were the JV team.
Mm-hmm.
And against, very experienced players for Navy. And, like, while we should, quote, unquote, be better than Navy up and down the board, it's just not the reality in football. Nope. And the announcers kept mentioning, we had so many more practices. Practices are only get you so much.
Yep.
You get better truly like an experience in games.
Yep.
And like
I'm
that
listening
type
to
of
you,
pressure. So the fact that they got to play a game earlier, you're still ready for it. The only downside is you might be a little more beat up. But I don't think they had anybody out or had anybody injuries from that. So moot point. But I don't know.
I mean, it's just like you look at the numbers and it's crazy. 27 first downs to 11 for Navy. I mean, it's just third downs. We were 11 for 19. They were 4 for 13. Fourth downs, we were both 50%. We were 2 for 4. They were 1 for 2. We had 433 total yards. Your one explosive gets called back for a
holding
penalty, which, is a nightmare. By the way, this play I sent it to them. On their long touchdown run, that was Boganowski getting caught. That's the issue with playing true freshmen at receivers. When you play true freshmen, it is they get their eyes in the backfield and they don't read. My dad talks about it all the time. It's why you don't do that. It's it's the issue that I think a lot of people just overlook and don't understand. The reason why you do motions and run is because you want to trick their eyes. And Boganowski, and I'm trying to find a video of it so I can show you, looks right in the backfield, and he runs straight over to the right side, almost to the right hash, and that guy runs right behind him for a touchdown. And so, I mean, it is annoying, sure, but I don't know. I mean, I think part of me is just like it's the reason why it's simple. Like, I mean, you don't have you're playing guys that young, and I know people want to just act like that's nothing and poo-poo it, but it's
it really had 15 days to get it together.
I think I'm more shocked that people that like are wondering why we didn't look as good as we did at LSU or at Alabama or different games. That part's more shocking to me. I get the trolls and people wanting to mock OU and all that, and that's fine. That's why they're there. But I think I'm more shocked that like OU fans are sitting there just.
But we're also not emotional fans. We have. Never mind.
No,
I was gonna say
he doesn't.
Potentially something.
No, nor should he. No, we're shitty next year.
But I don't know where I want to go.
The thing is this. See, I mean, I get the sentiment behind that. It's just not a realistic thing.
No.
No matter who's on the field. I mean, if you had me and T on the field, I'm sorry, we could have OU Sooners across our chest all we want. We're not going to give you any production.
Right, and also
that's just a real. I mean, that's
there's
just not
a big
realistic
difference
thing.
in an 18-year-old boy, man, quote, I mean legally man, and a 22-year-old man. So if you're playing a bunch of young guys, they're just going to besides not having the experience, they're just not going to have the size.
Yeah.
Or like what you need. And again, like
I realize that. That's my bad.
Navy is well disciplined. I mean, that's one thing the military is known for, being well disciplined. They're going to consistently be consistent. Like they're going to do the little things right. They're going to work hard. They are playing for more. Truly, they're playing for more than just their school because they're playing for the nation. Wow, I made that like so, but like they are playing for more, and that's what you have to have.
I mean, they're not. They're what they are. They're older. They're more mature, and they're disciplined. I mean, and we're playing young true freshmen that are playing. A lot of them in their first game, getting big time minutes. And I just, I mean, I don't know. I think I get OU fans being emotional, but you got to realize you're giving everyone that hates Oklahoma, you're giving them all the ammo they need to go out and talk to recruits, talk to guys in the portal, and talk about why they don't need to come to Oklahoma. So just remember you're doing that whenever you sit there and you bash BV, you're bashing every coach we have, making jokes about everything. I mean, it's just like,
and people say
shocking to me that is something people just enjoy doing.
Your tweets and stuff aren't
reason.
seen. Oh, they're 100%.
They're 100% seen. I've had players that have been in the portal talk to me, reach out to me, and I'm not even an insider or a guy that even knows anybody.
Right.
Talking about, man, y'all's fans are crazy. It's costing y'all recruits. And you may think that's soft. You may think that's just babyish. Well, we can think that for the next 10 years, and we're going to be getting our asses kicked while we can't get guys out of the portal. So everyone down there that wants to complain about it, keep complaining about it if you want. But that's just the realistic part of it.
Right.
It's the same people I have that don't want to pay for players, and they're going to say, why would I pay to support a team that's 6-6? Because we're 6-6. Ergo, you need better players. I mean, your logic defeats itself whenever you make the statement. But again, apparently that's just too hard of a concept for people to understand. I don't understand. I can't get that. It's shocking to me.
The people with the loudest voices online that contribute the least, seemingly. But not that the amount of money you contribute makes what type of fan you are. But hey, you know they have a swear jar. For every negative thing you say, we should have like an NIL jar.
Am I sharing audio? How do I know that? Share audio. Share.
But
tab. A tab.
Again, like, and you can be frustrated. Like, I understand being frustrated. Like, that's going to happen. But like, the emotional side of it, like,
sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out how to share
there's
this.
just so much more to be angry at.
Okay, they should be seeing this right now. Let me go full screen here. Yeah, they are. All right. I want y'all to watch this because whenever we say hut here, you're going to see the play come out. A lot of people were looking at Kanik here. Kanik is supposed to be playing this gap that you see open up between 24 and whoever this is, Armason Thomas. So he's going to go attack that, which is what he does. Because if 22, the running back gets the ball, he has to be there to make the play. Kanik's not doing anything wrong here. Okay? What's doing wrong is whenever you see, well, you won't be able to see it, but you'll see Boganowski, our safety, is way over here, which he's right there. He's supposed to be the guy in this gap right here. He's supposed to be the guy that fits right up here. He's supposed to be right behind about probably right here. That fits. He's not. Because he looks, and you can see it on a different angle, he's looking at this guy, and he's starting to run this way at the fake. Which you don't do. Which is why playing true freshmen can be dangerous. Especially with a team like Navy that has difficult run concepts, difficult blocking schemes. The way it is just... It's hard to just tell people unless you actually have had to do it. And my dad explains it better than obviously I can. But it is just insane to me that it is like a hard concept to understand that when you play young people, you're going to have the issues that you see a lot.
Right.
And I'm sorry if I'm not sitting here. A lot of people just want to get on and talk about fire this coach, fire that coach, as if that's some kind of big brain take or a take that should be thought of as anything but an emotional reaction to a game you just saw in which we had 12 true freshmen playing. Guys, I mean, yeah, I would like to win, sure, but like, geez.
My thing is like, there's a difference in being upset or seeing like, man, we really had some missed opportunities, and just taking the entire emotional, irrational, illogical take. That's my thing is like, everybody can be like, wow, we like definitely dropped the ball. And people are talking about Emmett Jones. I'm sorry, the coach isn't the one catching the football. It's in your hands. Like, that's on you as the athlete, and you would assume you can catch it. It just, like, I understand, and people's like, oh, you got to scheme them open. There's plenty of times they were open, and either, no offense to Michael Hawkins, but there weren't super great passes at times, or you just missed them, or then you have super great passes and you drop them, or at least good enough to be caught. It just was poor execution. And again, like you mentioned, that's what you're going to get with freshmen. You're not going to get consistent execution. Well, but like, and again, like, I can understand frustrations. I was very much not having a good time watching that game. But maybe if you didn't get our hopes up in the first, maybe that would have been it. Because we go up 14-0 and we think, wow, like, we're actually executing and we're doing the little things right. It seems to be going well. And then it's just, I said we took our foot off the gas, and of course people wanted to argue with me on that. I wasn't in the mood to argue, so I deleted a lot today, just because even little things I didn't want to argue. Yeah, that brings me something else. We slowed it down. It's very obvious we slowed it down, and as if we were just trying to run the clock or trying not to make mistakes instead of just continuing to make plays. But neither here nor there.
Also, I wanted to show people this because this is, again, where when you're just watching it and you don't have the background to know really what you're seeing, and you see that Hawkins make this play. Yeah, it looks cool, but this is why understanding what you're trying to get done on each individual play is important. Because on this touchdown, he has to carry on, right? Everyone talked about carry on to 82. Oh. Everyone talked about how amazing of a play it is, and it was cool. Yeah, it was a great play. But also, I'm showing you right now. Hopefully, it has the. Maybe it doesn't need the. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't need the window. We don't really need the sound. Also, realize this. This is third down, third and whatever it is. You're trying to get the first down here, right? So the first thing you do is count numbers. You got 1-on-1 here, so you know it's man. So you take that. You're rolling out. This is a pitch and catch, first day of install throw right here. You throw it here, you get the first down. And the reason why you should make that throw is because you want that to become almost like you don't have to think about it. Okay, you want that to be routine. And the reason you want that to be routine is because you don't want your quarterback thinking that he can do this stuff. No, I don't want to take the easy first down. I want to take the deep ball, and now I'm going to do this miracle throw. And the worst thing that can happen for a quarterback that is a true freshman, that was a great athlete in high school, is to think that he can do this on the college level, and then it actually works out one time. Because then it turns into him not wanting to make the basic routine throw for first downs and to move the chains over and over again. Now, we didn't lose because of Hawkins. He had a good game. He ran the ball well. Us not being able to run the ball is shocking to me. I don't know why in God's green earth we can run against Alabama's defensive line, but we can't run against Navy. I mean, we still have the same offensive line in there. Sorry, I'm trying to stop sharing the screen. We still had the same offensive line in there. And we can't move the ball apparently. Now I don't know why Xavier Robinson only gets the amount of carries he does. Someone tell me in the chat, and T, maybe you know, was he injured or something? I know he was a little.
I had wondered if he was still banged up.
I know he was a little
where he needed to be, but
I know he was a little like. Wasn't he kind of hurt after the LSU game or something?
I think
like that?
so. He got hurt in the LSU. 'Cause, again, maybe I'm just making that up, but I could have swore he got hurt in the LSU game. So I just assumed he was hurt or still banged up or got hurt in practice or something since we weren't seeing him. Also, that's why I assumed it too, because on the depth chart, he was like third. It was Sam Franklin, Taylor Tatum, Xavier Robinson. So that clearly just didn't make sense based on gameplay and how it's been. So that's why I assumed he was hurt. Or at least recovering. And, it just...
It's... and I get people I get the anger and like how mad people are. I'm mad too. I mean, I want OU to be good, obviously.
We always want them to win.
I think I just get exhausted by the whole like lack of context on every time this team's talked about, and it's done by OU fans almost more than it is even haters.
Right.
Like, you guys are talking about Oklahoma as if we had every player we should have had all year, and we were that bad. It's my issue with now. Maybe you think the getting rid of BV, those guys magically heal, and it was all BV's just aura that created injuries and created issues. And if you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe you're 100% right, and I'm wrong. And hopefully that's fixed. And BV being fired after next year, if we don't make the playoff, fixes it all. And I could be totally wrong, and I will be the happiest person to get up here and say, hands up, I didn't know BV had superpowers like that, because I assumed if he did, he would want to use them to actually help the team. But apparently not. So unless that's what your argument is, then there's no reason for you to sit there and talk about, well, getting rid of BV is going to make everybody be healthy, because there's no the logic is not there in that.
Oh, then go ahead and
lose
lose everybody that wants to play for BV.
Well, that's what also like, you realize you fire him, you're 3 years away from just competing again.
Everything
at the
gets
SEC
depleted
level.
again.
Everything will be depleted. All the true freshmen that got experience this year, they're gone. Lewis Carter's gone. Kip Lewis will be gone. Colby McKenzie might stay because, well, I don't even know if he would, because his fiance now is out of college. So, I mean, that's obviously a well-thought-out long-term plan, just say fire everybody. But again, I know that their Twitter reactions are emotional. They're not the people that make the decision, so I get that. I just get angry whenever I try to point out something in context, and I get attacked as if, like, I don't see the issues. They're obvious to see. I mean, it's just... next year, if we have the same injury problems, I just don't know. Then that to me isn't even. Where does it go to? I don't know. But it's.
If we have the
I
same
don't
injury
think we will next
problems,
year. It's an aberration.
We need to look at other things.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost to the point where, like, especially with how the portal and all that is, like, I wish they would stop. They used to not count bowl game statistics, wins or losses, or even numbers, because it was such
the
a
NBA Cup Finals.
Because of this right here, and especially whenever this right here it's going to end everybody. If you don't make why would you ever play in a bowl game if you don't make the playoff? If you're a guy that can actually, if you can go get more money in the play. I know people, and this is kind of my worry, is I think I'll care, like, there's a chance in a couple years I couldn't care less about college football again. I could not. I get to my reason. Like, NFL football is fun. I don't like understand people that like it more than college, or even like that, like tailgate and do all that. Because to me, it's just you're watching players that play for money play at the end of the day, and it's just their job. They don't really care about the team they play for. I know they say they, but like college was fun.
On the sideline, did you hear?
He just didn't opt into playing for whatever reason. I don't know. It's
okay.
It's not. It's just. It's just a tough one, man.
I definitely agree. It's just, to me, it's just disheartening because, again, I already mentioned Ethan Downs in a tweet, and I'm going to continue to give Ethan Downs his flowers.
See,
he does things.
Makes me so mad.
He does things consistently. He loves OU. He wanted to play for OU. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about him getting his. It was about a love for OU. And I hate that that's going to be a rarity, or that's already becoming a rarity. And same to Danny Stutzman, same to Billy Bowman. But I'm talking about an Oklahoma kid, and it's just, that's what made us love college football, was like their love for the university too. Baker Mayfield grew up loving OU, wanted to play for OU. So that's why we love him, because he gave everything he had for the University of Oklahoma. And there was that loyalty there. And that's becoming more and more like rare, it seems. It's not about loyalty. It might seem like loyalty, but it might seem like loyalty to us on the surface, but in reality, it's more so like they're just getting paid by OU more. They got offered everywhere, and they wanted to go.
These are the takes that just drive me up a wall, Sooners Cowboys, and I love you, but this is not your lead. See, this is when I talk about people making statements without context. Pre-Sark, Texas had everyone healthy. They didn't have 6 receivers out. Again, that just trumps it. This is the problem with
And
trying to
O-line.
criticize. This is the problem with any criticism of BV or even the staff this year. And you guys can get mad at Bauer Sharp and Joe John Finley all you want. Bauer Sharp was there every single game. I'll take Bauer Sharp over every receiver we had that didn't play any down for us this entire year. I'm sorry. The best ability is what? Availability. And yeah, that's a cliche. Cliches are a thing for a reason. It's because they're factually true statements. So I get people want to get up here and have talk about how OU's this, OU's that. Guys, we don't know what OU is because we're injured we don't have our. And today it's just shocking to me. It's like I'm taking crazy pills, sitting here trying to tell people that, guys, it's hard to say we should win a games when you have 12 true freshmen you're playing everywhere.
Right.
Like, yeah, they're going to drop passes because it's not practice and they're excited to get the ball in a game and they're looking away before they catch it to make a play. It's going to happen. It shocks me that people were shocked at that. Like, they're going to make dumb things. So I'm just sitting there mostly like, man, yeah, it would have been nice to make that play, but a good experience. And then I get on and everyone's just, Oklahoma. I've never seen an Oklahoma team this bad. Oklahoma is this level of bad. BV can't do it. BV isn't good. Guys, how can Venables have Oklahoma in this position year 3? And I'm sitting there like I'm taking crazy pills going, wait, I don't know if it's just me getting trolled and it's successfully trolling because good job on them, or if it's people dumb enough to really have that opinion. And it's shocking to me they're Oklahoma Sooners fans. T's probably wanting me to calm down a little bit, calling people dumb. I just can't stand it anymore. And before I see my program fire another coach and put us back down to where we were in 2022, I want people to at least have an honest take and an understanding of what actually is going on.
And what I hate is people are like,
golly,
it doesn't
it's
matter if
frustrating.
they're freshmen. They should be. Y'all don't.
That's people that don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
If you said that, you don't know what you're talking about.
80 to 90% of kids that come out of high school to the Division I level are not ready to play yet. They're not big enough. They're not. I'm not saying smart as like mentally smart, but like smart as in like scheme, not just out athleting people. Like actually having to think about the plays and knowing it that way. They're not ready for that yet. And so we're having to throw kids out there who were not ready yet against experienced veterans in the hardest conference, allegedly, in the hardest conference in college football. I mean, that's just what I don't understand. You take any team and you take away all the players, they're going to have the same outcome. And yes, they are talented. We have young guys who are talented, but talented doesn't get you success at this level because everyone is talented.
Yep.
Everyone is a D1 athlete. Every single person. Except now you're a talented young guy that's playing against a talented, experienced, bigger, stronger, faster, older guy. You're not going to win that.
I'm getting text right now about how terrible, how terrible.
But it's probably from your
we had
emotional
X amount of
friends.
losing seasons this year, X amount of before BV. Again, guys, I mean, all that. If you just, I get it's easy to have the simple opinion and to just not really think it through and be critical and thinking because that takes time and actual context and understanding to do. And yeah, it's maybe rude of me to say, fine, but I'm so sick of getting online and having to defend Oklahoma to Oklahoma fans, to not make asinine statements that recruits see, that people that are on the team see, that people in the portal see, and that coaches see. All of them see it. And you guys are just acting like we're fully healthy. We have everyone out there, and we got everyone else out there. Again,
No, they're not.
4-star athletes. Kyle, okay, cool. You know what? Doesn't matter against a 4-star athlete, a Division I senior that's 22, 23 years old. No one cares about that. That stuff does not matter when you're in college at all. My dad had 4-star athletes at Oklahoma Baptist that played there. They're everywhere. Just because we're 4-star athletes, 15 practices, they aren't games.
Nope.
It's like, I don't know, like, you probably have golfed. Some people have golfed. You get it, like, playing with your friends, playing a practice round is not playing in a tournament. You don't have the nerves. You don't have the expectation of yourself. You don't have the, if I don't pull this off, it's actually going to mean something at all. And it's just, I just don't get why. Now, you can say, look, I don't like the decision to do X, Y, Z. I think we should have done that. Cool. But so much of this is just, we just don't have any, you're playing all true freshmen today, makes it really tough. And all season, you're playing with, missing your five best skill position players. I mean, how, it's like that's just lost on people.
My thing is,
And it's shocking to me.
You want to fire all the staff, you lose the few good players we have.
I think
You're going to lose that. So we're just literally right back to where we started because when we started in 2021, whenever it was, we literally lost almost all our roster.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to even just field a team. We get some good players, have a pretty good season, easy schedule, sure, whatever, but still have a pretty good season. The 2 games we lose, Danny Stutzman's out. Like, it just...
Completely agree.
I understand. I always go back to this season, people predicted that we would go 6-6 with all of our guys. They thought with all of our players, with all of our wide receivers, with all of our O-line, with all of our talent that we should have had coming back, they thought we would go 6-6. We did that without the talent that we thought would be there, with the exception on our defense, with the exception of Gentry Williams and Kendall Doby. But for the most part, we actually made expectations with a substantial amount of talent and our guys not on the field.
Yep.
Just imagine if we actually had those on the field. And again, we will never know. But, and it just, I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I'm trying not to. I understand why.
Well, and OU fans are very critical of the team. I get that. They're also very supportive when they need to be. And,
right.
I mean, here's the deal. We can, I mean, I get people want to poo-poo the whole idea of minimal donations of this, minimal donations of that. But if we think we need better players,
unfortunately, in this day and age, it takes money.
We just, I mean, at the end of the day, you could try to phrase it however you want.
Which I also want to go back to, defense asked for raises.
By the way,
that.
Hold on, T. This is your point, and I'll let you. Sorry, I don't mean, but just to buttress your point, I know this for a fact. This is off book. This is actually inside information that I know. The one time I ever do know anything, half of our defense, and I mean this literally, makes more than the president of the University of Oklahoma. Now, the president is a public position. Let's see, president of Oklahoma salary. Let's see what he makes. Well, hold on, it's loading. I think he makes somewhere around 400-ish, 500,000. Well, we'll be paid $500,000 annually, equal installments. Half our defense that you saw play today, well, let me think. Well, maybe not that played today. There were a couple that were out.
This year.
This year makes more than that, more than $500,000 this year. Again, we're getting mad. Your offense needs to score. You can't score 14 points in a game and expect your defense not to have any mistakes. And sure, they shouldn't just let Navy score 21 on them. I mean, they did hold them after our offense shanked a punt after not getting a first down deep in their own territory. They did hold them to no points there.
Right.
And then, of course, offense gets the ball back. Same old story this whole entire year, does nothing with it. Except at least this time, you can bank it. You can put it on. We have freshmen everywhere, and we're just, it's like we're just doing a hodgepodge of some sort of scheme together. But I interrupted you. I apologize. I was just about to your point. Yeah, $500K.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's more than probably everybody in this chat makes. No, and if you make more than that, then great. I'm just saying, like, most of us, which is insane, and again kills the whole love of the university thing. Which all of us. And here's the thing, too. We're fans not because we're getting paid. We're fans because we love the University of Oklahoma. So naturally, you want kids who love the University of Oklahoma. And, like, it really is kind of.
See, but I just don't think bowl games are important. I never have. Like, I never have. Even when we because, like, remember when we beat Florida with Caleb Williams and them? Like, Florida didn't have Kyle Pitts. He was probably the best tight end in college football history. I mean, he was one of the best that's ever played in college, and he didn't play. I mean, they had 3 starters out. And so for me, it's like, I mean, I guess maybe it's cool to say to recruits you won a game. I don't know. I mean, maybe I give people too much credit that actually will.
Here's
maybe
the
I
thing.
do. I don't know.
The same fans that are complaining that we lost, had we won, it would have been like, well, congrats, we beat Navy. That's what it would. It's because there's no happiness in some people.
It would have been BV beats Navy. Wow, he should have beat Navy. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all it would have been, because some people don't have a life outside of, or happiness outside of Oklahoma football. I was going to say go support basketball and gymnastics, but honestly, if you're one of the negative people, please don't.
It's not, yeah. I mean, it is.
But if you are one of us that just, more realistic, you can be mad. Again, realistic doesn't mean you can't get angry.
Yeah.
Because we're angry at some of the stuff we saw, period.
I wanted to
there's more out there.
I wanted to go for it. I think it's a meaningless bowl game, and you have a chance to win. I mean. But again, maybe I need to count.
I wanted them to go for it because one, we essentially hadn't had any type of energy the whole game. Someone's like, "Well, then we finally got it. We could take it into overtime." I don't think we would have taken it into overtime. I really just don't. I don't think we would have taken it into overtime. I think that was kind of a one-off thing that we actually got together.
This is literally not true. This is not true. You don't expect them to be ready day one. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
See, this is what
and I don't
even know, Kyle, you're probably a great guy. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm also annoyed at the game and seeing what OU fans are saying on Twitter, which I don't need to do. I need to go touch grass right now. I do. This is not true. You don't expect Division I athletes to be ready day one. That has literally never been true. That is the exception to the rule. And exceptions prove rules. The whole reason you call it an exception is because it goes against the traditionally established precedent that's set. That has never been true. We've had 5-stars all the time that don't come in as true freshmen and start from day one. Especially if you're in a defensive line position, which Jaden Jackson wasn't even a 5-star. He's a rarity. That does not happen very often. David Stone didn't start this year. There is a ton of reasons why you don't have 5-stars come in and expect to start.
Right.
A&M signed the greatest class of all time, which they've all transferred
Shoot,
out.
at junior college, freshmen don't come in often and start. At junior college, we only have freshmen and sophomores.
Michael Fasuzi, not going to start next year starting out. He just won't. He won't. He's not ready to start at a Division I level.
In the
I don't
SEC?
think people understand what the ratings mean. The ratings are a projection to what your draft position might be whenever you become eligible to be in the draft. It does not mean that you are physically ready as a true freshman to play. It means that you have the physical tools,
Potential.
if developed properly, to become a first-round, high-round draft pick. That's what that means. You can have a true freshman that might look, a 5-star player, Buki Riley Hiles, that might not even be much for you whenever he does actually develop in a couple years. So the 5-star thing is just, I don't know where that comes from. BV going 4-8 next year, guaranteed. Get the HG hot board. If he does, he'll be fired. Sure. Again,
and we're not disagreeing with that. If OU has the same season this year, or even just slightly better as like 1 or 2 more wins conference, we agree with you. We're not disagreeing with that aspect. Like if that is the result of OU's team next year, everyone and their dog knows that would be BV's last year, assumingly.
Goodness, yeah, Cowboys under Jerry Jones has been a nightmare. But yeah,
we agree. We're just saying like it's hard to put a lot of weight into this season given the cards that were dealt, and also with this game, it's hard to. I don't know. It's hard to care.
You can say it's a bad decision. He made a 56-yarder earlier in the year. All this stuff again. It's hindsight 2020. I almost want to make it a rule. And fair enough. I would do it too. You have to tweet out what you would do before you do it. Before the play happens.
Before the play,
it's amazing.
Tweet what you would do.
Shocking how many genius Nick Saban level coaches are on Twitter. I knew they shouldn't have done that. I'm sitting here saying they shouldn't do. Okay, highly doubt you were, or you'd probably be not on your couch. You'd be coaching a Division I football team somewhere. Stuff happens. We need to improve. Yeah, we do.
Some, people say bowl games are important. They used to be.
They used to, see. I don't.
They used to be, and they should. And here's the thing.
Why? Give me one reason other than injuries why BV would go 4-8. Unless you think BV can prevent. Unless getting rid of him will prevent injuries or get rid of them all. I think these takes depend on what you think is the issue. See, I believe
you're wishing that because you would rather be right than actually see OU.
Which is a lot of OU fans. They didn't like BV when he was hired, and they just want to be right about that.
No. They liked him when he was hired, but then immediately didn't.
Again, 3-9 next year. Yeah, if we have the same amount of injuries, if we're healthy, I think we're in the playoff this year. I don't think that's even very debatable.
But can we go back to bowl games are important?
Where is that?
Down at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I just skipped all these. Too.
You interrupted my point.
Here.
I would say they used to be important.
There you go.
They did. They used to mean something.
Can I make that any
smaller? Once the opting out started happening, before they even NIL, they no longer were important. Not important to players. They may have been important to some fans if your team never made a bowl. I think they said that was Navy's best year in a long time.
Yeah, but trolling OU right now, why do you care if they're trolling OU?
Yeah, I don't. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
Other teams care about OU more than they care about their team. I don't understand it. I never thought about when my team won, let me think about Texas and Nebraska and Oklahoma State. My thought has always been on OU. So if there are grown adults out there that are obsessed with OU so much that they have to troll OU and their entire identity is in trolling Oklahoma, you know what? Have at it.
But again, I saw that dumpster. Sure, guys, we had 12 true freshmen playing. I don't know a team in this world that would have that many playing and actually, sure. We should have done better in a lot of ways, but this idea that I'm getting to it. This idea that we should, have been the same team or even better. I just think that was people not knowing the game, setting their expectations way too high. It's just, right. For me, it's a lack of understanding of it all. I don't know. But it's pretty easy to tell what isn't important. The games players choose to and not opt out of. I'm sorry, if we were in the playoff, Danny and Billy Bowman and all them are playing.
Yep.
You have your leader on defense that's making all the calls. That is a first team all
Deion's
SEC.
Probably playing too.
You have all Americans back against a team like Navy that has a unique offense that you don't see ever. Which again, when we got the matchup, everyone's sitting here talking about how you can ask my dad when we got the matchup. I said that is a nightmare situation for Oklahoma because all the opt-outs we're going to have in the freshmen we're playing because all these fans are going to get on and talk about it's Navy, you should beat them. Nightmare situation for Oklahoma. You're going to get a team with almost no opt. I don't think they had one opt out. You're going to get a team that has a really unique offense that you have to prepare for on defense, and you're playing true freshmen everywhere on defense on top of that,
and well disciplined on top of all that.
So I mean, it's I get people
Actually,
don't want to look into it that
I think
deep,
you're recorded in one of our things saying, "Oh no, we're matched up with either Army or Navy, and if there's one team I don't want to play, it's a military school that's well disciplined
or religious schools because they play for a higher meaning."
Yes, like. Anyways, where was Stacy's comment? I like Stacy's comment.
I think I covered it up.
If we went to overtime and
Yes.
lost, people would be mad that we did not go for the 2-point conversion. The only way people would have been happy is if we won. Period.
Yeah,
End of story.
there are some people happy that we lost at our.
And what I love is like,
sure.
and I wish I would screenshot more. There were actual people saying, "Oh yeah, go for it," and then like deleted that the moment we didn't go and said, "What an idiot decision." So like he said, you should be able to tweet what you would do in that situation. So then if you're gonna have a
I
point,
disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly.
Anyways.
Okay. I mean, I hope you're wrong, Sooners Cowboy. I hope that you hope you're wrong, by the way, which I don't know. I'm not getting that vibe, but I don't know you. You seem like a good guy. You're an OU fan, so you obviously have good in your heart.
He's a Cowboys fan, so he's
And you're a
used to
Cowboy, which I'm a
disappointment.
Dallas Cowboys fan too. You can probably see. I have an Emmitt Smith card right there, which I don't know if you can see. It's a rookie card. It's actually pretty
Yeah,
nice.
it's behind.
It's pretty sweet.
I may be wrong,
So
but it's
we've
highly
had just a
unlikely,
brutal year this year. Well, he said, I think he meant entering, but I'm going to go see if we have any.
Oof.
There's a lot of people
Missing
commenting.
a lot of people in the chat.
I just don't know. Games don't matter. Don't matter. In reality, the postseason and BV 0-3 telling you. The big game, yeah. I mean,
Again, winning big games when you don't have your players makes it a little bit harder.
I don't. I mean, yeah. I mean, sure, 0-3. I just don't know. And I don't know why. Maybe it's crazy on our opinion. I just don't think when you don't have all your players, you're not going to be as good, and especially whenever you're dealing with a team that's won in the entire other FBS schools at the Division I level. In terms of what the offense they run, it makes it really difficult to prepare. And you're playing freshmen everywhere on defense. It makes it tough. I mean, it's just goodness, man. It's a nightmare situation for Oklahoma in terms of who they had to play today. I'm just shocked that like it was
Also,
it was like shocking.
3 weeks of practice is not the same as game time experience.
We will.
So regardless of how much practice time you had,
I agree, Beach.
that 3 weeks is not going to get you at the level that these experienced Navy players are playing at. It's just not.
All right, well, Sooners, like I want to take your comment seriously, but I don't know. I don't know whether this is like trolling. If it is, it's a good troll. I'll let you have that troll.
Sooner Cowboys,
not
do
ever
you
gonna
want
get-
OU?
That's a troll.
Do you
don't
want
even
OU
get
to be
upset
bad
about it.
next year so you can be right, or do you actually hope that you're wrong?
General,
Please put that
again,
in
this
the
isn't
comments.
but the games are different. They're just different. They're not. It's not. Yeah, but Navy didn't have any players sitting out, and they just got through playing Army.
And played a dang good game
This
against
isn't even
Army.
an apples to oranges comparison. It's an
Energy.
apples to a Michelin tire. They are completely different scenarios. This is what we're not even in comparable worlds right here. We had 56 rostered scholarship players, 20, half of which were true freshmen. It's like I'm taking crazy pills. Guys, you're not going to do much with that. These aren't excuses either. They're reasons. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, you guys are bashing your own team worse than it even calls for.
It's an experienced Navy team, Jen.
Jenner, I love you. You're one of the best guys I know. I'm sorry. It's not just Navy. They're a 10-win team now that they beat OU. They were 9-3 before. They just beat Army.
They
was
killed
out on
Army.
us.
Who
Without
won
your
their
freshmen.
conference?
I just, I know. He got me on a couple of the trolls. I get it. I respect him for it. It's a game. Why did everyone hate? I mean, it's, but still, yeah. I'm sorry. These comments are coming in fine. I don't like going forward on our own side of the field. That definitely gave Nady. Fair.
I feel like Navy had
think-
momentum all the entire game except for like 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, no joke. I am. Reasons 4-8. Less talent this year. 2. Same schedule as next year. 3. Our receivers can't catch the ball. 4. Our line. And Peterson isn't running the ball. I just don't. Less talent in this year. I think well, first off, that's actually not going to be true at all. You'll have more talent in this year because all your players are basically returning, and that ones that are supposed to start, your big time 6'3", 6'4" NFL type bodies, are actually going to be able to play next year. Where this year you had literally true freshmen playing with no experience. So next year you have true sophomores playing with a whole year of experience. So we're going to have more talent. All
Same
your offensive
schedule.
line are back.
same schedule as next year.
Right.
As those teams are actually losing a lot,
Yep.
which is great. A lot of them are losing their quarterbacks, which I mean we did too, but we're also gaining a very experienced quarterback. Wide receivers cannot catch the ball. Again, they're young and seemingly their biggest game of the year. So you're hoping, you know, you get into the flow of the game and you can get experience to catch the ball. O-line cannot run block. Again, you hope that they get better as well. They were injured all season, essentially. And so, yeah, you would assume that would get better. Again, you also have those freshmen that are developing on the bench that you would hope can get some meaningful minutes next time as sophomores. Adrian Penis isn't running the ball. Xavier Robinson's pretty dang good.
But yeah, he's not AD. Well,
he's not AD. No. But again, you're comparing people to impossible athletes.
He doesn't need to be AD either.
No, he needs to be Xavier Robinson, a healthy Xavier Robinson, because that was good. And he was a freshman this year that was asked to not redshirt. But
man, I mean,
and here's the thing: if you want to be angry, fine, you know, be angry. But
excuses. I don't know, Rick.
Then be mad, Rick. I guess.
Yeah. I appreciate you watching though. Can y'all please like the video? It really does help, and I hate having to ask. It's cringy, but it really does. Yeah. No, this is annoying. I don't know. I have no idea how you don't know the play. It's my biggest issue with Oklahoma. It's always been an issue though. I mean, for whatever reason, we can't even. We just can't get plays in a way that it gets people lined up either pre-snap or post-snap. I don't know if we're trying to do too much. Like defense, we did that a couple of times, but also I think the headset went out on one of them, so they had to switch helmets.
I chalk it up to today. I mean, I know it's happened other games, but to me,
yeah, I get it, Rick.
We get it. I mean, yes, but like again, you can be mad and also think.
Yep, true beach.
Also a little bit realistically, but dang it, I went blank. Oh, about the not after a timeout. Part of it to me is just inexperience. You're like, oh no, what was it if they lined up here? Oh wait, what was it? What was I supposed to do again? I think it's just young and inexperienced. Like,
Ben, I know that you're a Texas fan, that you just said it, but just even to this point, I don't even feel like I'm defending anything. I'm just pointing out like the facts. I mean, it's like the old legal adage: when you have the facts, pound the facts. You have the law, pound the law. If you have neither, pound the table. I mean, it's just the facts. I mean, maybe it's defensive, but that's just where the facts lead you. You could say whatever you want. Again, like Texas fan, right? Imagine you guys lost your center on a bullcrap call that wasn't a blindside block. You should be a man and be able to, not be able to just take someone's head off like he was going to do to the guy that intercepted the ball. But that's neither beside the point. But everyone was talking about how bad that loss was. Oh, they lost their center. Big loss for Texas. Imagine losing two more starting linemen, which you got back one of them, and the other one, I forget the guy's name that got injured. Imagine losing him and another, and your starting center. And then imagine losing 6 of your best wide receivers. And you're gonna sit here and y'all will get your asses kicked by whoever you play next if you had to do that. And then you'll get on here and say, yeah, but look all we had out. Look who we had out. Look at all the talent we had out. That wouldn't be an excuse, Ben. That'd be a reason why you lost. Reasons are like logical explanations for why an event happened. If I'm late for work because I blew a tire on the highway and I couldn't get the spare to fit, or I didn't have a spare because I would already used it, or whatever reason, so I had to call a tow truck and I'm 2 hours late, and I tell my boss, hey boss, I left 30 minutes early, I know we had an important 8 o'clock meeting, I blew a tire out, I won't be there on time. And he goes to me, stop making excuses, Chad, get to work on time. That would be almost insanity on his part, because it's not an excuse. That's a reason why I'm going to be late. Or I train
6 months to run a marathon. Mm-hmm. I get in a car wreck and break both of my legs a day before the marathon, can't run it. You know what? That's an excuse why I couldn't run it.
I mean, there's just a literal difference between excuses. Would be like, man, I don't feel up to running today. I was queasy this morning. Oh, the wind blew a little harder on me than it did the lady that beat me, or the runner that won. That's an excuse. Excuses are when you when you try to say you lost for something that everyone really has to contend with. That's whenever you have excuses. But I mean, when you're missing people, and this is not even like today. I mean, today you're playing a crap ton of true freshmen. You have 56 roster or scholarship players. You don't have much, whatever. Still should have won. I hate a lot of what they did. Fine. I'm talking about just on the season, people talking about how Oklahoma just is not going to be any better next year. They're just totally forgetting all that Oklahoma dealt with in terms of injuries the entire season, which is just annoying and shocking to me.
Yep.
I mean,
we were missing 2 O-line this past week. You were missing one, and then you came back in, but it's fine.
I thought you were only missing one. You missed Major stayed out, and then that right tackle, unless if he got injured later in the game and missed. But okay, even then, imagine missing 33% more offensive linemen and missing another one, another starter, by the way. And then imagine missing your top 5 receivers in that game. Well, 6 technically because Brendan Thompson got injured too. But it's just
domino effect.
Everyone says the problem is DeMarco. Just curious, what influence does he have in game outside of what all DeMarco has control over is who starts and who gets in certain situations. I think on the latter. I know on the former, on who starts. Tawee Walker's talked about that he, and I think I'm not sure if I'm a fan of how he does it. If what Tawee says is 100% true, it was that he kind of just tells you before the game, which seems weird to me. Which I don't know why you would do. I don't know how true that is, but that's apparently what he does. Look, our running backs, it's Xavier Robinson to me is still our best running back. I know that they like Sawchuk because he understands the pass blocking so well. But Robinson just has the best vision. Like he can turn plays that the blocking might not be the best into good plays, and he can actually make use and make benefit of the blocking when it's actually there and working.
As a young guy.
Yeah, as a young player. And so I don't get why we have, minimal snaps with him getting on there. It's just like shocking to me. So, I don't know. There are some player decisions that I'm just kind of like, I don't get that move, but
right. And people to me want to say, there was bad decisions by coaching. Again, there's no bad decision until after it happens, because a lot of the people that say all these things are bad decisions, we're not saying it was a bad decision until it didn't work. My biggest issue is execution, which is again we've already talked about with young guys that's going to be an issue, but you can have the most outstanding play call. But if you don't execute it, then y'all turn around and blame coaches. Well, the 8 drops were all great.
Yeah, see,
they were great plays. They were schemed up well.
I get Lane. I get your frustration.
They were schemed up well, and the players did not execute it. These players are making more than the president, well, defensively, but these players are making more than most of us make at our jobs that we work 40 hours a week, every single week. And I'm sorry, you have to be able to execute. I have to execute at my job. I have to get kids to say the R sound. If I don't do that, I'm not very good at my job. I'm sorry. And people, say you can't criticize the players. I'm sorry, you can now. To me, with NIL, it's opened up a new door. If the players can ask us fans to open up our pockets for them to have some money, they can also open up to some fair criticisms. I'm not saying call for their heads. I'm not saying send them threats. None of that. No, but you dropped a pass, you dropped a pass. You gotta catch a pass. You gotta execute. You have to block. If you don't like being called out for that, stop asking for fan money. Don't. Whenever the spring comes, don't say this all doesn't happen without contribution. Please contribute to One Oklahoma. No, don't put that out there. If you don't want a fan to be able to say, "Wow, catch the ball. Wow, that was open. Catch it. Wow, you missed your block."
And you know what's shocking is I think you saw how valuable Bauer Sharp and J.J. Hester really were. As bad as our offense was, sorry. They would have helped a lot. They would have helped a lot. It's just you got to have people there that have experience in the college level and can actually make plays. It's just, Matt, drop it if you do. But I don't know. I don't know if we should.
I don't know if I want any breaking news.
They don't play. Yeah, it's just 8 drops, man. I mean, and I get people mad at BV, but also we had a 70-yard touchdown run that was called back for holding. I mean, that's not a BV telling his players to hold.
Or 70-yard pass that was dropped, and then a 56-yard run that was called back.
50. Okay, that right there. Yeah, it's just.
And then what was? There were several that were just dropped. That at least if you don't score on it, you get a big chunk, and you're setting yourself into a good position. That was a good decision by coaches. That was not executed by players. We can talk about player execution. That's okay.
I think more just players dropping passes. You have 8 drops, you're not going to win many games.
Right.
I think we're just.
If you need to get 4th and 1 and your line just fumbles under pressure.
Yeah,
that's.
Again, 27 first downs to 11 for Navy. Navy had 11 first downs. We had 27. I mean, it's. At some point, you're just shooting yourself in the foot whenever you get first downs and you drop 2 back-to-back passes or you fumble the ball. And one thing Hawkins will have to improve on, and I'm sure Ben Arbuckle will work with him on this, is he has to understand when you can and can't take sacks, or when you need to just escape the pocket and not.
Or you need to make the easy play.
And I'm gonna. We have about 3 times as many people here, and I want to show people again what I showed earlier about Hawkins making this throw. And it was a great play, but
the game was not. It's not all Hawkins. We're not saying that at all.
He was not.
It just the theme of this year was we get players open. We can't make the pass. The pass is over there. It's at their feet. It's off target. It's above their head. Or We get them open. We make the pass. It hits our numbers. We drop it. They didn't execute. It was there. You don't execute. Or we can't find the flipping sticks on third down.
Right.
Let's just run a route a yard ahead, 2 yards ahead. Get to the 6.
That
Also,
annoys me too.
at the end, the call it was certainly a catch, but they called it not a catch. Big 12 left.
Roberts?
Yes, at the end. He actually found the sticks, but the pass was not great. He caught it. He caught it, though, even though they caught it not, but whatever. Not the point. Proud of you finding the sticks there. But it just seems like that's an ongoing problem, too.
Well, that was an issue even, like, going to last year, too. It's
I
just
know. That was an issue a lot the last year, too, for sure.
I just don't know. I don't know. It seems... I think Jackson Dart just announced if he's coming back or not. I'm not sure. I think he might be going to the league or I don't know. Let's see what the comments say, because that'd be big. Yeah, he's going to the NFL, so Ole Miss will have to retool at quarterback as well. Jackson Dart's a pretty good athlete. It's going to be a big...
Also, I will say defensively, at least early on, it looked like Kip Lewis and Kobe McKenzie were taking on or attempting to take on that vocal leader role.
Yeah.
It looked like they were, which again, as they should, as linebackers, but it seemed like they were definitely doing the whole motioning thing. I think Kip may have been the one with the helmet with the...
I think Kanik had it.
Kanik had it?
Yeah, number 7.
Oh, really? Well, to me it looked like...
When he was in. He was...
It was just... I mean, it's tough. You're pushing people into leadership roles that they haven't had all year. And they talked about on the broadcast that Michael Hawkins is not a vocal leader. You kind of have to be a vocal leader at quarterback. I was not a vocal leader either. I didn't like that role, especially as a female, because you can't get any type of criticism to another female without it being a big deal. But as a quarterback, as you have to be that vocal. And that's a new position for him that he's going to have to learn and will continue to learn. And I think he's going to be great under Arbuckle, and he's going to grow.
Yeah, this is why what I'm talking about with having size. Like if you look at a lot of the portal additions OU's made, they're all 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" guys, except for one, Satanga, I think, is a 5'11", but he's more there to replace Brendan Thompson. He was your 10, 400-meter guy.
Honestly, what I would really love is for him to replace Peyton Bowen on kick returns, punt returns, or kick returns. I'm sorry. I would like to actually have an offensive player back there, but that's just me. That's just me. I know nothing compared to any of these coaches, but I just would like to see an actual offensive player.
You're right, Trojan baseball. You're 100% right. I am. I'm just. I mean, unless we plan on playing, 56 scholarship guys next year and 2 freshmen, then this is where team takes like this are just. And I don't know. This might be a troll too. Which if it is, good on you because you got up here. But it literally will be next year because you're not going to be playing non-scholarship true freshmen or even scholarship true freshmen that haven't had many, if at all, playing time like earlier in the season. So it'll be better than that. Yeah, Jaren had the green dot.
Oh, okay.
BV. I just clicked somebody and I didn't see it. BV coach wasn't any expert coach and had his team play. There wasn't. I mean, our defense didn't do terrible. I mean, they only gave up 21 points. It's just it's another. We've seen it all year.
Downs.
It's in 11 first downs. It's just another year where you have, when we are. Well, the biggest issue is we couldn't run the ball for whatever reason. That's what kills us, because it was never in the game plan for us to throw the ball 45 times. For whatever reason, we couldn't establish a run, and a lot of people talked about why we could do that in the first 2 series because we could run the ball. If you go back and look at those games, we were getting good runs. Well, we scored with a run on the first possession. We were gashing them. And it seems like whenever they made adjustments, Navy did, we couldn't readjust for whatever reason. And so now you're having to throw the ball because you can't run it, or that you're having to do QB design runs, which Navy also knows. And you just, for whatever reason, we couldn't get that to work. And I'm really interested in hearing, Teddy and Gabe's breakdown about what happened here or there with the run game. But, whenever, that's the key to any good offense. A lot of people look at Ohio State and think they're, this, high-flying, deep throwing all the time offense. They're a good run offense. They are a run-first, run-minded offense that hits explosive plays off of the run game. Oklahoma's best offenses under Baker, under Kyler, run-first, run-heavy, run-centered offenses that hit big plays off the run game. All good offenses are centered on the run. There is no offense that is great at elite Division I football that is centered on pass first. There isn't. They are all, and if you think they are, you just don't know what you're looking at. They are based off run, and then either an RPO behind that, or they are based off play action, off of the success you had early in the game on the run. All good offenses are. So when we can't run the ball, and maybe we could, and this is where maybe Arbuckle will sit there, and he just has enough common sense as a young kid to say, we just need to get our best players the ball, so I'll just let Xavier Robinson run it. And maybe he was injured. Maybe there's a reason he didn't. I mean, maybe he was hurt or something. I don't know. I don't know they don't have an injury report for bowl games, I don't think, or whatever that is, or for the playoffs, I don't think, which is crazy to me. You don't have one for the playoffs. But regardless, there is...
R. Mason Thomas in the post-game interview basically says he's weighing the pros and cons and has till mid-January to declare for the draft.
Yeah.
You know what? If he leaves, I hope he declares for the draft instead of chasing that $1.5 million from Ohio State.
Yeah. I mean...
But...
I just, if they want to leave, they want to leave. This is what I'm
Sure,
saying,
I
guys.
guess,
This
yeah.
is going to be the end all be all that is going to really suck for everyone. It's going to become to where, why would you care? Because it's going to be NFL. What eventually is going to happen, you're going to have to basically make all the players employees, which means they don't get scholarships anymore. Which, by the way, side note on all that, it's so annoying to hear people talk about how these athletes get exported for all their athletic ability and get nothing in return. Seems like you got an $80,000 a year scholarship and you got all your college paid for. You got educated. You had the best workout facilities in the world. You had everyone at your beck and call. I was an athlete at Oklahoma. I was a Division I athlete. I know how easy it is to make grades at that university. You literally take your paper, drop it off. You have grammar experts that sit there and write it. You pick it up, make the edits, turn it in. You can't get people to do that. And so this idea they didn't have any benefit before NIL or whatever it was is a lie. It's a straight up lie. It's not true.
Plus per diem.
To
live off of.
Players were getting monthly stipends to pay for stuff.
Monthly money to pay for stuff.
And it's just, so that's on top of it. So now what you're going to have to do, SEC, the Big Ten, and maybe another conference are going to break off, create their own conference. You're going to make them employees. They're going to be able to unionize, which is a nightmare. You're going to be able to do collective bargaining. So players, they'll be a minor league baseball. That's what Oklahoma will be. It won't. No one will care about, you grew up in Oklahoma, you're fighting for your team, you love your team. That'll be meaningless. It's going to be, who do you sign off the waiver wire? Who do you get to come in? Why do I care why would a player care at all about what Oklahoma represents or what they can do? And just, why would they care at all about that? And that's what it's going to turn into. And so it's like, for me, it's like worrisome because that doesn't interest me. Like, I just could not care less about a league that turns into that. So maybe it's like, I hope it doesn't, but that's eventually what you're going to run into.
On top of all the women's sports going away. Among other males, but basically every other sport besides men's basketball.
Yeah.
You can wave them all goodbye. And then people are going to be in an uproar
over that,
but it's the reality. And I really, really, as an ex-female athlete who also had her college paid for, breaks my heart because it is ridiculous. Again, they're going to go away. They might not go away in the sense, they'll be like club teams.
Oh yeah,
you'll get people like I know that support women's sports wholeheartedly. They're going to be paying for these women to go to school. That's what it's going to be. It's not going to be NIL in the sense they're not going to get scholarships anymore. It's going to be pure. We'll find you a booster who loves OU women's basketball, who loves softball, and they'll pay for the scholarship of these athletes, or they'll pay for you to go to school, and that's it. And stinks for them, for everybody else.
It is.
And if you are like all of us that are just fans of the University of Oklahoma and you just truly love the University of Oklahoma, whether it is you grew up on it, you went to school, you did both, you grew up on OU and you went to the school there, for whatever reason, that's just not, these players that are playing for you are not going to have that same love you do. And that's, bothersome. Someone asked what sports we played. I played basketball. Chad played golf. I did not play at OU. They didn't want any more 5'3" girls, unfortunately.
She could have.
But
probably the best 3-point shooter in women's basketball history in Oklahoma, by the way.
Okay, that's a bit strong.
No, it's not. I mean, literally, she was.
It's a bit strong.
She what were you like? Her senior year, you led in attempts, you led in makes, and you led in percentage. And you had like 49. You had like games with like 40 points. She was on the 30-0 Sulphur team in 2013. Yeah. She was cold. She's not.
And guess what? If you took away all of our or if you took away 3 out of our best 5 people, we wouldn't have won state. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
And we had a dang good coach. So, and also because we did take away almost all of our starters the next year, and they didn't win anything. I mean, not state.
Because JW, the issue that everyone's running into, and I know people hate on the NCAA. I feel sorry for the NCAA. I want to repeat that because a lot of people will think I'm being crazy. I feel sorry for the NCAA because they are in a horrible catch-22. Because any regulation or any type of rule they try to put in place for the portal or for NIL is seen as a restraint on commerce or restraint on the ability for the player to make revenue or money off of his NIL, his name, image, and likeness. So they literally can't make any rules because they're going to get sued by any player that the rule applies to. That'll then have an effect for the entire NCAA leagues that they oversee. So people will sit there on one hand and say the NCAA needs to step up and take responsibility and be leaders in this situation. They can't, because every time they do, they get sued. And courts are so afraid to do anything that it's anti-player because they bought into this idea that players didn't get anything before NIL and they were exploited and they didn't get any sort of benefit, all of which is asinine and crazy.
We also know every good player at every university was paid under.
I also know, and I won't ever say the name of who it is, but I know players that you guys would know that you guys would know 100% that had thousands of dollars, and it wasn't over the table, and I saw it with my own eyes. So this idea that they weren't getting anything beforehand is a lie. It's just not true. But now what you have is you can't have any if you try to do anything that inhibits in any way, shape, or form a player making money off his NIL, you're gonna have either a lawsuit or it's not gonna be allowed. So what they'll end up doing is hopefully through rev share, it'll limit and cap what universities can spend on player rosters. But now you'll have what they do in the NFL, where like a Nike can come in and say, hey, I want to give a player give a player blah 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 for $1 million. Fine. But that doesn't mean that, hopefully it limits a little bit because there are not going to be that many businesses that just want to give a bunch of players a bunch of money like there is right now with donations.
To me, there's what's going to be maybe we need to legislate it is when these big businesses and big donors are the ones that are saying, what? No,
John,
we're not giving you any money. Unfortunately, that's what it's going to be because then the players are like, wait, we're not getting paid anymore. No, because people are tired of opening up their pocketbooks. For people who are supposed to be amateurs, who are supposed to be playing for the love of the game, who are supposed to be playing for an education, which is so, so valuable and should be treated as such, and who should be playing for more than just themselves. No. But it's just not that way for many people. I don't even want to say most, for many. Someone said women's sports is going away. If NIL keeps up the way that it's going, women's sports will go away.
Soon you'll see rowing, wrestling, you'll see... What other tennis,
baseball,
golf, soccer, all those will be gone probably in like 5 years if NIL doesn't change. And
they might not go away in the sense of like poof into oblivion. It'll go on the way in the sense that these people get scholarships. Yeah, or that there will be any funding through the university. It's going to be more, again, like I said earlier, you're finding boosters who happen to love that sport and will give Reagan beers. They'll pay for her school. Like that's what it would be, essentially, at best. Or the players are going to play for their own. They're going to go play, and they're going to pay for their own school and just play to play.
Devin Mitchell, not one play this whole season, really, because he wasn't ready to play. I mean, he left his high school a year early, so he should be a true freshman next year. He'll be a true sophomore, but he's only 17, like he's a young kid. And the part of the thing that people that you got to understand, if you can't play kids before they're ready, because it's not even that they're going to get. It's not that they won't be able to catch a pass or doing it. They're going to get people hurt because they're going to miss blocks. People are going to get blindsided. They're going to get themselves hurt because they're not physically ready to take on the beating they're going to take an entire game or season of. And then you're setting them behind that much further. Jermaine Gresham is one of the best tight ends in my opinion. He'd be my first tight end off the board over even he'd be over Mark Andrews for me, but over Keith Jackson. He'd be the one tight end I would take. He didn't want a big contributor his true freshman year. I don't even know if he played much, if at all. And he ended up being one of the. And then he's a better athlete than Devon Mitchell was. He was a more gifted athlete than Devon Mitchell is. And you can't. It's just a different level. This is what I mean when people see stars. They think stars mean ability to play next year. That's not what it means. It means your projection if you pan out over your 4-year career in college. That's what stars mean.
You also have to remember that they're playing against people who were given the same projections.
It's like you're playing
even better.
You're playing against elite athletic people. It's. Sorry, awful about that. I just disagree. I don't think.
Someone said if players are getting paid to play, then they shouldn't have the option to sit out.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
but how are you going to keep them out though? I mean, if they say they're injured and can't play,
you get a loss again. Yep.
It's why people,
can of worms.
It's people get mad at the flopping during games and getting penalties. Or whenever people have a big play and they want to run tempo, people act like they're injured. That's smart. It's genius. Why would you not do it? You'd be stupid not to.
If you try to have any type of regulation on it, it's going to be a lawsuit. Yeah. Because if somebody's actually hurt and you're penalizing them, it's a lawsuit because everybody wants to sue nowadays.
I do you think? Sorry, I'm trying to see. I have to look through the camera.
I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. Am I allowed to say that? Like, I think NIL is going to continue to get worse.
Minimum use.
I
that's NIL,
assume you meant NIL.
No, he
I
did.
100%.
Right,
it's going to get
sorry.
worse. It's going to get even more messy and more sticky, and then maybe what's going to happen is the government will step in.
Yeah, and they don't
And
ever screw anything.
we all know how they do. So it's going to get worse before it potentially gets better or gets extremely regulated. I don't know.
Well, yeah,
what's going to happen is
it's
probably is going to happen is a lot of women's sports are going to disappear, and then they're going to cry Title IX and all that. So then the government steps in, and then there's regulations. Look, again, we're not against NIL.
No.
We think that you should have been able to get paid for doing autograph signings, for selling T-shirts,
like the Terrell Pryor
taking
stuff should not
pictures.
be.
We 100% think that
an
we
issue.
think you should get scholarships because it's such an opportunity to get a scholarship. But the pay to play is insanity. You have coaches giving up their
I mean, you saw what the Florida State coach
giving
did
up their salaries
to pay for players.
or donating millions of their own money to pay for players. Like that's just, I mean, great for them. It's just crazy.
By the way, I just saw a tweet.
There.
I just saw a tweet a second ago that said they want money for this kind of performance. Laugh out loud. They're not getting a dime or something along that lines, which is a self-defeating statement because one would assume if you want your team to be good and you don't think you have the athletes to do it, you need to go out and get better athletes, which costs money. Ergo, you'd want to donate so that the team has more money to buy better players.
Yep.
But I mean, I get some people just bought into the fact OU's not going to be good under BV. I think they could be a playoff team next year with health and with Ben Arbuckle and Mateer coming back and the type of scheme that he runs and the players we're getting back. You're fine. I just. I don't know if it's just people don't have the foresight or the ability to just not get emotional when they look forward, but like, dude.
There's 18 to 24-year-old kids out there making more money than doctors. Wild.
Yeah. It'll get tailored in a little bit, especially with it'll get tailored in because you're going to have the school next year under the revenue share. You're going to have schools that pay directly, and that'll be capped at like 22 to 23 million. Not every school will be able to pay that much, but you'll have that limit at least for like the Texases, the Texas A&Ms, all those schools to come out and, not be able to play,
Right.
be able to pay that much more than everyone else. The issue you're going to run into still is what do they do outside of NIL? What do they do outside of their college? Because if a Bob Moore Ford wants to come out and be like, hey, John, we'll give you $500,000 to sign an hour's autographed, but really that's his incentive to have chosen OU out of the portal.
Right.
Then, how do you ever stop that?
I don't know. People are saying, put it in contracts, but not every. But here's the thing: one school's gonna be like, "All right, we'll start doing contracts." Not every school's gonna do that. They're like, "Why would we do that?
Not without regular.
We have a ton of money. Why would we want to put people on scholarships?" So unless it's a required thing that there are like these set contracts with these set rules and these set limits, and the portal has these limits, it's gonna be what it is.
Well, and what people don't realize is like NIL is a state by state regulated process. Like it's not NCAA regulated. Each state controls their NIL laws. So Oklahoma's are different from Georgia's, different from Alabama's, who differ from Florida's. So it's not the NCAA that sits there and can make these rules. Right now, you're not allowed to, unless they can get an antitrust exemption, which I think they'll get. The same way the MLB got an antitrust exemption, and then they'll be able to actually regulate things. Because right now, the reason they're not unable to regulate is under Section 1 of the Sherman Act. It just says that you can't have a restraint on the language is so simple sometimes I forget it, but it's basically you can't have restraint on the ability to earn a living or to be of your profession or whatever. But if that's taken to its extreme, it would mean you literally couldn't have contracts, which also isn't true. So it's like you can't have unreasonable restraints. But right now, everything's seen as a restraint. It's why Pavia, which is an idiotic decision, the JUCO stuff is stupid. That is a dumb decision and
as
thing to do.
ex-JUCO athletes,
it's idiotic and stupid. You knew what the rules were going into JUCO, now you want to cry foul about it. It's idiotic and stupid.
be better or qualify out of high school.
But it is what it is.
Or life isn't fair, and sometimes you don't get the looks.
Yeah, sometimes you're not. Yeah,
life
sometimes you don't.
life isn't fair.
Yeah, I don't want to see 27-year-old men playing college football. That's not. But again, whenever it's all about money, like you're saying, I mean, why would it get, again, think of the effect that has too on high school recruiting. In Ohio, for example, there was the head of recruiting, and I can't remember for which recruiting date. I think maybe Rivals. He was the head of following Division I recruiting. Ohio, before the portal opened up like it is now, had around 150 to 160 high school kids sign FBS Division I scholarships. They had 62 last year. And all those scholarships that aren't going to high school kids for an opportunity go to portal players. Now imagine you also let those teams say, hey, we're going to give you a JUCO talent with 4 years of eligibility left.
So
which, by the way, the
2
NCAA
years of college development, 2 years of just aging and maturing as a man, because y'all keep maturing out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take a high school kid unless they're Ryan Williams?
Yeah. I mean, it's just then what you're gonna have to do is like NEL will be Oklahoma's funnel. It'll be their funnel to OU. You'll go 2 years to JUCO. Whenever you get mature and you get more physicality, you can come to OU.
Murray State
will be
which
whatever
football,
it is. Whatever it is, that'll just be what it is. So, it's just. Yeah, I know, and I said in one of our stream on Monday, like where we're at right now is basically the Articles of Confederation, like period, right? Like we're just everything we're doing is kind of crazy. It's not really working, and they're gonna come back and fix it.
I think that's a problem with our society in general. We're a microwave generation when everything's better in the stove, and we want everything now.
We had 8. I believe we had 8
streaming services. Can't wait for a commercial. Heaven forbid. Like we are a generation of we want everything now. We like the Violet Beauregard from
what a call.
from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It just and again, like we were hopeful for the season. We're not saying we're not disappointed, but once we saw how many of our wide receivers were out, it just opened up our eyes a bit to be like, oh no.
I fought it
especially with another Jackson Arnold starting his first season. Like, oh great, now he's not going to get to throw to the best receivers. And then his protection drops like flies. So, on top of not having all of your car put together, you don't have insurance on your car. And people are just running into it. But it just, I don't know. But yes, it is the instant gratification society. And that's just kind of what it is. And I know OU's not the exception. Everybody wants that. Everybody's hoping for the instant gratification. It's just.
And on just like you're saying about that.
Well, shoot, if they had instant gratification, Sark wouldn't be at Texas.
Yeah.
He'd be gone already. Good for Texas. Worked out for them. Granted, it required basically pay to play for them to get there, but that's fine.
Winky was 28 when he won the high. I know, nightmare. But also, Chris Winky would try to play. Didn't he try to play in the MLB? Am I tripping? Joe Klatt did the same thing. Like, I mean, I think they both.
Brandon Whedon was always the weird. He was 26, which
but
part of me
he tried to do MLB too.
Yes, I know, but it's like part of me at the time was like, that's weird. He shouldn't be able to play that old against college, which stands.
Yeah, he tried to play for the Blue Jays.
Then part of me, when I turned 26, was like, oof, can't imagine trying to play a college sport right now. So like, kind of respect, but also like, it's just insanity.
See, you could. The problem is you can't. You would have to have the federal government make that a requirement.
Yeah, because nobody would go to OU if you had to sign a 4-year contract, but you didn't have to sign that at Oklahoma State, at Texas, at A&M, at Arkansas.
Yeah, it's a state thing. Oklahoma could require OU and Oklahoma State to do it. It's just if Florida doesn't, why would a player come here and where Florida says, "Hey, come here for a year, we'll pay you," and then if you don't like it, you can leave. Where OU's going to say, "No, you're signing a 4-year contract. No matter if you play it down for us, you have to stay for 4 years."
Right.
You know?
And I think all of us, to be fair to an athlete, most of us wouldn't sign a 4-year contract to a new job. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unless I guess you were like in the healthcare profession and they're going to pay off your student loans type thing. Some people do sign contracts, but most of us wouldn't do that. But
you know, and I guess
people say Texas is bought, not built. I think it's both.
Yeah, I mean Sark's still a good coach. So they have really good talent. They do have a lot of money for sure, and they've certainly bought players. But I mean, look, I always try to look.
And
we
hate giving props
to
Texas. This is like pulling teeth, but like again, we're realistic.
It's like, you know, I always try to look at it. If it happened to OU, how would I feel? And I would love to be in Texas's position, where they have a lot of talent and they have a set culture. And here's the thing: they didn't have to
people who have blank checks that say, "What do you want? Here's a blank check."
And they didn't deal with 6 people being out on the starting offense. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I mean. Like, it's almost a frustrating thing for people to accept on OU's side, because it's the end all be all to any comparison to any coach. No one dealt with that ever. No one's ever dealt with that. And again, the only way you can have that position is if you think Brent Venables has an aura that just leaks out injury.
Yeah.
Unless and if getting rid of him is just
karma. Yeah, weird karma aura oil.
Again, I've said the 1 year we were healthy, we have 10 wins. You know, and if we have Dylan Gabriel and them last year in the bowl game, we probably beat them. That's another thing people forget about when they talk about the 0-3 stuff. We haven't had our starting quarterbacks in 2 of them. I mean, whatever else you want to say about it, there's a reason why we're struggling in these. It's when you don't have all your players, and you have 6 turnovers like we did last year against Arizona, which people obviously forget about too. 6, you're going to lose games. So,
And 15 practices is not enough to fine tune anything.
Yeah, we agree with you, Robert. It's Texas, and
Trust us, it hurts us.
Robert,
It hurts us too.
We agree.
We hope Arizona State finds a way to win, but not the point.
Mr. I don't know, is that how would you say that? Dilligaff?
Dilligaff?
Mr. Dilligaff. I would love to agree. I just think players care about money. And if, say you're an elite player, I had a coworker bring this up. He's like, why would Ryan Williams enter the portal and just say, I want more money? Nothing stopping you. Again, if it's all about money, which it wouldn't be for me, but
probably
I love Oklahoma.
Because he wouldn't have to enter the portal. He's already probably getting texts from every school.
And he's just showing
with any type of money, and you're just being like, hey, look.
Yeah.
Although it's tampering, but nobody, again, no regulation, so who's going to say? Unless you self-report like some schools, not the point. Ryan Williams is like, oh, hey, look, just got an offer from Ohio State for $2 million. What are you going to do, Alabama?
Yeah. Jonathan, again, though, it's not about what coaches want. It's about what you're legally allowed to do. And right now, if you try to sign people to a 2-year contract, it'd be seen as a restraint on them being able to leave.
Evading taxes.
That's what I'm saying is you have to have a requirement. If you want to require someone to sign a contract, they have to be employees at that point. So you'd have to rule them employees, or you would have to give them some sort of exemption to where they could require that and it not be an antitrust violation. Because what they're going to argue the moment you say you have to sign a contract is they're going to say that a 2-year contract is a restraint on them being able to enter the portal and get more money for their NIL or for their ability, which the courts have ruled over and over as a restraint on the. It's just, I gotta look up just the basic language, but it's a restraint on ability to earn income or ability to profit or something off of your profession. I'm going to look up.
Somebody said just wait until they start evading taxes. Honestly, that might be what calls for regulation is if you start getting players in some legal trouble for tax evasion or just, I don't know, bad investments.
Restraint on trade or commerce. Yeah, that's it.
Then that might actually be what causes it. I hope nobody gets arrested. I'm just saying that might actually have to be the straw that breaks camel's back for it to be some regulation.
There's mid-20 players in college football if they're good enough. Yeah, but the vast 97% of players in college aren't good enough, but they're very good college players.
Oh,
one of our lights just went out. They're very good college players, though. That might be.
What year is Cam Rising on? 8.
Yeah, Cam Rising's on a year late.
We're gonna go dark. Oh, we're gonna go light.
It's that's wild that just happened.
And that's part of the problem is a lot of these kids aren't good enough to go to NFL, so they are going to take advantage of the portal and getting as much money as they can instead of playing for more than that. Yep. Which I hope while doing so, they are actually finishing their degrees and getting degrees that are meaningful. I hope it's not just professional studies. No offense to anybody who has professional studies degree. I'm just saying in general, hopefully they have degrees that can substantiate them past or that they're making dang good investments now.
Yeah.
But seeing some of their purchases, not sure that's the case.
See, I agree if he didn't have a good year next year, but I just part of me still wonders I don't know how anyone judges him this year. Who would have? I mean, it's an aberration of a season. Who would have expected 9 starters to be out on offense on one side of the ball? And it's just people might say that you should overcome that. You shouldn't. No coach, no player overcomes 9 starters being out and acting like it's supposed to just be okay. Or you got to have depth. That's never been a thing that's expected of any coach or any player ever. Or any program. I meant not player. But I'm just, so I get people upset with BV. And if we don't have a good year, he'll be gone because the people just want to move on. Fair enough. And trust me, he wants to win more than anybody. But it's just, unless we think that him being here just results in us being unhealthy again, I just don't think there's any chance that it's just him alone is the reason. I think he wants to win. I think he has a good culture in what he likes to, how he likes to run his program. It's just, we just have missed a ton of guys this year. And it hurts whenever you play teams that don't have any sit-outs and that are really difficult to defend against whenever they run a unique offense that you never see. It's why remember the Army game? We struggled to beat them, and we made the playoff that year with Kyler. I mean, Kenneth Murray Jr. had 28 tackles.
That was a tough game.
There's a really weird offense you're running against, and it's just, it's why, and again, if people are just now seeing, when we got picked to play Navy, I was like, it's a nightmare game for us. It'll be a nightmare game, because everyone's going to have the expectation we should blow them out because we're Oklahoma. People are going to forget we don't have half our team there, and we're playing all true freshmen, and they'll make dumb mistakes, and they'll drop passes, and they'll do a lot of things that true freshmen do, and they're just going to think that it should not have any impact on the game because it says Sooners across their chest. At some point, what the person inside that uniform, when they're young and inexperienced like we had everywhere, makes a difference. That's why we had the 95-yard run, because Boganowski gets his eyes caught in the backfield on the sweep, on the motion, and goes and runs across the field instead of staying in his lane. It's why all that stuff happens. They're young, inexperienced players. But the best thing about this game is that it's the end of the 2024 season.
And hopefully some of you can
look
breathe
forward next year
and enjoy some other aspect of life. I don't know. If football, and again, I used to be angry, but I think NIL has actually chilled me out. I don't know. Or one day I was really upset at a game and my dog came up and like brought me his ball and wanted to play. And I was like, you know what? There is so much more to life. Why am I upset that these kids that I don't know are not winning it? Like, how does that truly affect my life?
It was. What's funny though about this take right here is I should have shared screenshots. I want to say dozens of screenshots of people that were complaining about the Latrell hire, talking about how smart it was for him to hire him last year. That were the same ones that sit here and were like, well, it was a dumb hire. We're the same ones saying,
I took a picture with Latrell at the ladies' clinic.
So what's that?
And I kind of didn't mention Latrell. I just mentioned because Dusty Dvorak was in the picture. And there were several people who had said, oh, that's the future OC at OU. That was what we had Levy at that time, which is funny that I had people telling me that's our future OC. I was like, really? Strange. Also, no, I'm not going to say it.
I look at me. I'm having to be like, T? It's okay.
Well,
it's
just
the other way.
based on some of the things.
Oh no. But
never mind.
It's a different thing. I'm excited to see Arbuckle next year and see how that runs. I think you got a good hire there, and I think he's going to be able to develop.
Someone said, who did Zeno pick? Zeno picked Navy. He's now up to 11 and 13. So
Zeno did pick Navy. Wow.
So he got it. But my thing is,
Zeno picked him.
Zeno picked Navy. He got a win.
Yeah,
there.
Levy went to be a head coach in an SEC program. I just don't. He was a loss. I liked Levy. Now, you know who didn't like Levy? OU fans. Because apparently, having the number 4 overall offense in the country just wasn't quite good enough for a lot of people out there. I thought it was actually pretty solid. If we have the offense we had last year, this year, we're probably the favorite to win the national championship. And I don't really know a team that would have competed with us much. Because I don't think Texas is amazing. I think they're just around. They're really good along with everyone else that's in the playoff. I don't know a team that would have really beaten that team we had last year if we had the defense we had this year the whole season. You would probably. So I mean, it's just in hindsight, 2020. I mean, you do eventually they will, and it'll ruin college football.
Sorry, Mr. Dilligaff, we didn't see your last question. We lose things in the chat.
Oh, sorry if we missed one. Where was it?
I don't.
Here, I'll go up.
It would have been up.
It won't be that far.
Or we could ask him to send it again.
Oh, right here. Is this it? I don't think.
Wouldn't doubt players start taking that into account. True. Why play in California?
Yeah. Maybe, hopefully.
Do they have? I mean, is it considered an income tax?
If they're employees, it would be. Not only that, you have to pay taxes on whatever your scholarship doesn't pay. So you would
go ahead and start having the jock tax in college. See the meltdown there. Stupid tax, by the way.
Emotional side. I don't think he still called pretty good games after that all came out.
I think it just meant how he reacted to it, saying. Which, again, it's kind of like...
Yeah, I mean, it's family, though. I mean, I think that's another thing. A lot of people say that he should have acted one way. It's family. All of us are irrational when it comes to family. I mean, you just are. It's his father-in-law.
Right.
He wasn't down there in support of what Art Briles did in his past. It was his father-in-law. I thought it was ridiculous to get upset about that. I laughed at OU fans that did.
Was he going to do? Break up his family?
Yeah, I mean, geez. That was ridiculous to me. But, neither here nor there.
I mean, I feel like I was neither here nor there with Levy. I was never a Levy defender, but I was never a Levy hater. But also, people are going to always have something to complain about. There's never going to be a perfect game. There's going to be calls you're like, why was that called? Like, it's just how it's going to be. But no, I definitely wish we had the offense from last year. That would have been dang nice.
I'm telling you, that's
also
so
the
true.
same people who hate it on DG.
Yeah, that's DG's. I hope he wins a natty, and I'm going to come on here for a stream and just talk about how right I was for an hour and a half. And I'll love
he
it.
might become irrational.
I hope he wins. I'm a diehard Oregon fan. The next like 3.5 weeks.
Oh, good night.
I hope that's true because I told everyone here that wanted to crap on him the whole time. He's not elite. He's a high level elite college quarterback. Doesn't mean he'll be a good pro. Which is hilarious when people try to look at pro results and be like, he's not that good. You're talking about college, not pro.
Here's the thing. I don't think our players are poor. I think they're just young and inexperienced.
Sure, if we were fully healthy and had everybody and we were playing like this, you would have a point.
Absolutely.
The problem is we don't. I mean, this is what I mean. Like, all this stuff, people just leave out all context.
I think they're very talented. The problem is they're very young, playing very talented people, too, who are experienced. Like, that, I don't think... I don't... I don't think the players are poor.
Hold on, I want to show people
I
this.
just think they're young.
I want to show people this real quick. Hold on. Because this is where people act like we weren't missing a lot on our offensive side of the ball. For whatever reason, act like it wasn't important, which just makes me laugh. This is before the season. The top 10. Are y'all seeing this? Hold on.
No.
Share.
Can you get that off?
Yeah. The top 10 returning wide receivers, top 10 returning wide receivers 2024 season. It's just the receiving cores. Dang it. Isn't what I wanted. All right, here it is. Included in the top 10. I'll probably have to follow a couple links to get there, but it's okay. Football Focus graded the top 10. Well, Oklahoma was on here, and I think it was number 10. Let's see. There it is. Oregon was number 1. Then you go to Ole Miss. No injuries, no players out. Ohio State doesn't have one injury or one receiver out. Georgia doesn't have one injury or one receiver out. And I'm talking about injuries at receiver. Obviously, Carson Beck's out. Texas, not one injured receiver out. They do have the running backs, but Windsor might be better than both of the starters they had. Missouri didn't have any injured receivers out. Miami didn't have any injured receivers out. Colorado, no injured receivers out. Are you catching a common theme here with all the top receiving cores that were returning in 2024? LSU didn't have any out. The Oklahoma Sooners brings back 5 of its 6 leading receivers from a year ago, losing only Drake Stoops. Nick Anderson is one of those leaders and was the second in the Big 12 last year with 10 touchdowns to only Adonai Mitchell. Jalil Farouk and Angel Anthony also came back for a combined 1,010 receiving yards. The Sooners also found a couple starting pass catchers in the portal in Purdue, Deion Burks, and Baylor tight end Jake Roberts. Burks was second in the Big 10 with 18 forced missed tackles on receptions in 2023. And in case you don't know, that's pretty good. Despite serving as Baylor's backup tight end in 2020, Roberts still ninth or whatever. I don't care about that. We had one of the best receiving cores in the country returning. We lose every single one of them. I mean, literally every one of them.
Can we get it off?
And people are just, we are. And people are just sitting there going, look at that ad, by the way. How long does it take to lose 25 pounds with chair workout at my age? That's wild.
Kind of looks like Jason Kelsey.
We had one of the top receiving cores in the country all get injured. And it's just, the coaches got to figure it out. Guys, coaches can't out-coach lack of talent. And when all of your starters and backup and depth gets hurt, doesn't matter. You could have Nick Saban this year. It ain't going to be any better. In some areas, he's a better, maybe strategy or whatever. But, Saban never dealt with that. No coach has ever dealt with what Oklahoma did this year. And I don't mind people getting mad at that fact. I mind people ignoring it. You can get frustrated at the fact that you had to deal with it all, but they had to deal with it. So, we can sit here and complain and act like it's just BV this. I don't like easy takes like that. They annoy me because they lead to bad decisions and emotional reaction. It's BV. Okay, cool. What? Did BV cause 10 people to get injured on offense alone? Was he the reason that happened? Did BV cause Betchy to hold the heck out of that guy today? Which it was a hold. That was the correct call. It's annoying it never gets called in Oklahoma whenever their receivers are holding the hell out of our corners, but it doesn't. That was a holding. It just was. If that happened to Oklahoma, we'd be screaming that they didn't call that play. That's how you should always look at penalties whenever they're called. If that happened to OU, what would I be saying? If you would have been mad it wasn't called, it should have been called then. On top of that, if it was BV's fault that we fumble the ball right after our defense gets a stop, did BV want that? Is that just the aura of Brent Venables that does that? Because he's got amazing powers to do negative things, apparently. Didn't happen when he was at Clemson and had all those national championship defenses, but apparently now you guys think he's at Oklahoma. He just can't do anything correct. Or do you think it's because we're missing all of our talent right now because they're either sitting out for the draft or they were hurt all year? What's a logical take?
Or the few people that did play transferred out.
Yeah, or J.J. Hester, who was Bauer Sharp, who, matter of fact, we needed today, didn't play. What about that? Do you think it might be that? Or do you think it's just some voodoo magic Brent Venables has to do negative things for our team? What do you think is a more logical, reasonable explanation?
They're like, these Emmett Jones needs to be better. These receivers are dropping.
Yeah, and it's shocking to me. No one knew this.
Yes. Is Emmett Jones out there catching passes?
No.
That's on the players. And guess what? Players make mistakes. They are not perfect. You can coach it. I'm pretty sure he's not out there saying, you know what? You should try to run before you catch the ball. You should take your eyes off the ball. He's not saying any of that. That's what's wild to me. We can say when the players did not play well. Yes. Or had bad, or just dropped it. They just dropped it. They tried, and people are like, they're trying their best. I'm not doubting they're not. You know what? I will criticize. If I see a player, I'm okay with people having bad games. I'm not okay with bad efforts. That's what annoys me. But yes, you can try your best and still not play a good game. I admittedly tried my best every game. Some games I did not have good games, And it's okay to say that. It's okay to say I didn't shoot well. It's okay to say I made some poor decisions. But apparently, we can't do that to athletes who ask for our money.
Yeah, this assumes we have any understanding of what they're trying to do in the portal. You can go after all the best guys. I'm sure they called them. The problem is you got to be able to afford to pay them, and then also not break the bank on one of these guys, because if one of them don't work out, like a Deion Burks, and gets injured, you've wasted all that money on one player, and now you don't have anyone else behind him. So they're wanting to get depth and experience as a side to just going after one like Hail Mary attempt at getting an All-Pro player. I don't think any of these guys are going to be guys that could change a program. They're good. They're solid additions. None of them are Ryan Williams. None of them are guys that are just going to be amazing, like day one, number one receiver guys. You know who is? A Deion Burks, which is why it was big that we retained him and spent a lot of money to do so. Also, the biggest issue we had in the portal this year is that our defensive players all wanted astronomical raises.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And we were talking hundreds of thousands of dollars for a lot of them just to stay, because they're getting hit up, because we're not in a good position to bargain with anybody, because we just went 6-6. So it's just, it's a double negative for that, for all that's going on. And one of the worst things you could do is just blow up the entire program, lose all your players, have no money to restock anybody with. And now we're sitting there saying, well, why didn't OU see this coming? Oh, you shouldn't have done that. I was saying on Twitter, oh, you shouldn't have fired BV, although it was a tough year. He had injuries. He was saying that. No, you weren't. 95% of the people here probably didn't even realize we were missing that many guys on offense. Someone didn't know we had 25 people in the portal. We were saying that a week ago. Watch The Voice of College Football. You'll get all this information a week ago. You would have not gotten so worked up today if you'd have heard us say Navy was a nightmare set matchup for us.
Yeah.
Because I said literally, the true freshmen we're going to have, all the young guys and the players sitting out, and you're dealing with that kind of offense, going to really be difficult for Oklahoma. I got people at work saying, well, Oklahoma, it's Navy. They should beat Navy. Yeah, if you're not playing true freshmen everywhere, sure, you should. Oklahoma, that before at the LSU rostered Oklahoma, would beat Navy. I had no doubt about that. But you're not.
Thank you. I'd like to say it's not just today.
I like to say I think our opinions are factually all correct.
Chad, actually, I bought this for him as a sign. It says, I may be wrong.
This is actually really funny.
But it's highly unlikely.
Dude, by the way, if anyone's ever done like streaming, yeah, hey, John Turner, 100%. This is T's realm. She's the big basketball junkie. Knows it much better than I ever was at it. All I know is that we are undefeated on men's and women's.
No, women have lost.
Women lost. See,
should not have lost.
And I know that Fears is very good. He also is so young.
No fears.
Yeah, there you go.
Fears, no fears.
Turn there.
No, definitely no. And we're kind of running late because we're dealing.
We figure out a way to put this right here, float it.
But it is perfect for Chad Stacy. I saw it at, I don't even know, probably Ross or a thrift store. I was like, I have to get this because
I'm just gonna hold it right. That's hilarious.
That's the lawyer in him. But man, I thought it was going. Basketball teams have been doing great. Love Coach Porter Moser. I love Jenny Barachik. I can never say her last. I always feel very insecure saying her last name.
Sure.
Coach Jenny, those teams are rolling. They deserve our support. And again, unless you're one of those negative Nellies where nothing is good enough, please just take the off season. Take the off season until September. Take some breaths. Love on your family. Love on your dog. Learn to sew. Bake a cake. Do something that makes you happy. But the teams are rocking it, okay? They're a lot of fun to watch. The women have been a lot of fun to watch. The men have been really fun to watch. The game against Michigan was a great game. That was such a fun matchup. They have conference play coming up. And although we left the Big 12, which was historically the basketball conference, the SEC decided to step it up this year. We're playing several ranked teams in the SEC coming up, especially on the men's side. Probably the women's side too, but I know the men's side they've talked about a little bit more. So go and support them. I would like to go to more of their games. Unfortunately, a lot of their games start at a time where I cannot get off work.
She's also goes to work at like 6:30, which is wild. But, yeah.
So, and then women's gymnastics starting up. They're fun to watch. And if you've never watched gymnastics, go ahead and start. It is fun.
Dude, the meets are actually a blast. If you haven't been to a meet, and when they're in Norman, you need to make a point. Just take they're actually really fun.
Yeah, take the family. Especially if you have daughters.
Right?
Buy them a leotard because they're pretty. I have said a million times, how can I wear a leotard as a grown woman and an outfit because they're so pretty? You're a man. You're like, leotard's great.
Well, they're young.
They're young. But I'm just saying, though, hey, males, watch gymnastics. But they're so much fun. The girls are, we all know, historically great. We know they're historically great. We like to brag on them. How about we watch them? But we support them. You know, they're really fun. Softball's got like 40 days. So you got 40 days until softball. So go support another sport. But their basketball especially is in the midst of they're I say in the middle of their season. They're really not. They're still more in like the beginning third, but they're a lot of fun to watch and deserve just as much as your support. Gymnastics, I think, man, they're like a week out. I'm trying to think. I had it up for a while, but they're a lot of fun. Honestly, the gymnastics losing the way they did in the semis last year broke my heart more than I feel like any football game in the past few seasons. Like, that was really hard to watch.
It was certainly more shocking.
It was definitely shocking, but like, man, let's see. They're the number one. Ooh, of course they are. Number one preseason pole women's gymnastic, 8 days. They have 8 days, and then they will start their seasons. Lots of fun. If you are in Norman, their tickets are not expensive. Go see them. Yeah. Honestly, basketball is really not that expensive either, so go see them as well. Or at least tune in. Like, watch on TV. We all have those. Stream it.
I agree. All right. We got to go to some holiday stuff down
more
in
holidays
where our families are. So we got to go get ready for that. We appreciate everyone watching. You guys rock. Next time,
we will be back on Monday.
Monday. Yeah, we're doing it every Monday. And
we always forget to say this. Please like our video.
And
please subscribe to our channel. We will be here every Monday, even on the off season. So I'm sure we'll have lots of more NIL talks in the future. We will be here every Monday, 7 o'clock, regardless of season. We'll talk other sports too, but this is the voice of college football, so of course there will always be football talks. But please like and subscribe, or don't, I guess. But please,
no, please do. I used to hear people say that, and I'd be like, "Oh, it's crazy," but it's shocking how much it actually does help, like the algorithm where we post these videos. So if you don't mind, please do that.
We will definitely be trying to have my father-in-law, Coach Smith, on the pod, especially in the off season. We'll get him to break down some film and talk about.
We'll get him in. Yep.
Some stuff.
Dude, yeah, the OU's golf team is insane. And to be clear, Hibble was doing the rebuild kind of whenever I got an opportunity to play. So I was not good enough to play for the team they have now. They are insane. Nor was I really good. I've only played in like 2 tournaments for OU, and they were individual. So I just don't want people to get like a misnomer of like those people on that team are ridiculous, and they are even better now, which is awesome to see.
He played with Abraham Answer. That was his roommate, though.
Well, roommate, yeah. It was
he's so
cool.
adorable. He's so small.
He's one of the
he's
best
really good at golf,
but
he's adorable. Anyways, I've only met him like briefly once, but I just think he's so small.
Yep. Ryan Sermon, he was the assistant women's head coach. Now he's down at A&M. He was my other roommate. He was a good dude.
Yeah, but cool anyways, guys, we hope you have a good rest of your holiday break. If you're on break or just holiday season, because we only have New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
New Year's Eve coming up. And then we are in the time of the year where it starts getting lighter, longer. A lot more sunlight. So go get some sunlight.
Oh, the days are longer now.
They'll start getting longer because we went past the winter solstice.
People get so mad when you bring that up. Days get longer in the winter, shorter in the summer, because they attribute that to days are longer in the winter, which is not what you're saying. You're saying they get longer in the winter. Because cares. After the solstice, technically, every day gets longer.
But anyways, guys, go enjoy your families.
Cool we just got a donation.
I miss you in the Big 12.
Hey, we missed the Big 12.
Hey, no! Why would you say that?
I'm giving her some love. Thank you for the $2, by the way. That's very kind of you.
Thank you
very much. BYU, big BYU fans, y'all rock. Who are they playing?
Colorado.
Colorado, yeah.
My dog picked you, so hopefully BYU gets the one for my dog.
And he was right today.
If you don't know what I mean when I say that, you can watch our previous streams. My dog makes picks on 5 games every week, so you can go watch them. They're at the end, so if you don't want to watch our whole video. But anyways, guys, have a good, time, break, week. But,
y'all rock.
Go give your family a hug.
Hope you had a good Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see y'all next Monday. Thanks for hopping on, everybody. We appreciate it.